we're not ready to start yet. So I just want to do a couple announcements about Gita is having a tea party for ladies on December 6th, right, at 2 o'clock. And I just want you guys to know that all the ladies are welcome to that, whoever wants to come. Where's it going to be at? Do you know? Okay, 1860 Summer Street, Northeast Salem Community Center. And then we're going to have another event on December 13th, which is a Hanukkah celebration at Red Lion Inn at 6 p.m. on December 13th. So you guys are welcome. Everyone who's listening at the TV land or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Everyone who's listening can come, and who is in town can come. So, what else? Is there another announcement I'm forgetting? Because I forget. The what? Oh yeah. I don't even know what they had. Okay, they had a baby girl named Olivia. You said Olivia Rose. Yeah, no, if the Matthews are listening too, we appreciate you guys and we wish you all the best and to come back safely because we miss you guys and we want we yeah, Dave. I'm filling in for you, man. Yeah, they don't want me, they want you. All right, so all right. Well, Dave's a lot better speaker than I am. I'm kind of shaky still. All right. Well, I'm going to do a teaching of the dwelling in the house of Yah. Yah impressed upon me that he wanted me to speak about his house, and I think my initial response was, really? I mean, I'm not worthy to speak of your house. I mean, I don't feel worthy. I don't feel like, I don't feel worthy. I mean, but, Yah's, he's in charge. He's the boss, and I want to do what pleases him. And our worship, we worship him in spirit and truth. We worship him with our words, with our singing and dancing. We worship him. We want to give him all glory and esteem. And I'm going to start out in Bereshit 25. I will use the Torah portion to bring this about. Bereshit 25, verse 23. And I'm going to read the verses too. And Yahuwah said to her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 people shall be separated from your body. And 1 people shall be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. 2 nations are in your womb. This world is going to boil down to 2 nations, one good and one evil. Depending on how you perceive it, you will be a part of one or the other. This same struggle is inside each one of us spiritually. Which one will we give precedence to? So, do you guys believe that? There's a struggle in each one of us. Our flesh or his spirit, and I don't care how long you've been doing Torah or have the knowledge of Torah, that you could do the Torah all in your own flesh, in your own strength. And that doesn't add up to hill beans. I mean, Yah will judge us accordingly to that. And I'm going to use Micah. This is a good not Micah, Malachi. This is a good example. In Malachi 1, 1 through 6, the messenger of the word of Yah to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, says Yahuwah, but you ask, in what way have I loved us? Have you loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Declares Yahuwah. And I have loved Jacob, but I have hated Esau. And I have laid waste his mountains and his inheritances for the jackals of the wilderness. If Edom says, we have been beaten down, let us return and build the ruins. Yahuwah of hosts says this, let them build, but I tear down, and they shall be called border of wrongness. And the people against whom Yahuwah is enraged forever. Your eyes shall see, and you shall say, great is Yahuwah beyond the borders of Israel. A son esteems his father, and a slave his master. And I am the father, where is my esteem? And if I am the master, where is my fear? Says Yahuwah of hosts. To you, priests who despise my name, but you ask, in what way have we despised your name? First of all, I want to talk about a little bit about this Edom. I mean, right now as we speak, I mean, the governments of this world are going to bring about another Edom. Do you believe that? I believe they're going to bring about another Edom. That's a government structure with has 12 governors. You ever heard of the Council of 13? The Council of 13 is with 12 governors. Obama's the 13th person in that thing, and they're going to divide the United States up into 12 different sectors. You guys, I'm sure you've heard of the movie Hunger Games and all that. That's all going to come true, I believe. They're setting the stage for all of us to get used to these ideas about these things. But I believe Yah has another plan, his plan, and we need to know what that is. We need to know what his house looks like upon this earth. I think we're trying, but I don't think we're there by no means. I think we're definitely trying to bring his kingdom here on this earth with whatever efforts we have, but we need much more, and I believe there's much more out there to establish his kingdom upon this earth. That's Yah's prayer right there. He says, his kingdom come, his will be done on earth as it is in heaven. It's already established in heaven. Why isn't it here on earth? I mean, I think we have part of it on earth, but I don't think we've seen nothing. I don't think we haven't seen the body united. I'm talking pull away people's differences. We haven't seen that. Yeah, saying, where's my esteem as a father? Are we esteeming him? I mean, the time we have for worship is only an hour's worth of time. Do we esteem him? Do we esteem him in everyday life? Do we give him the credit for everything that we have? If we have much in physical goods, do you esteem him in those goods? Do you esteem him with what he's given you? Okay, Bereshit 25:27. And the boys grew up, and Esau became a man, knowing how to hunt, and a man of the field, while Jacob was a complete man, dwelling in tents. So I don't want to give a bad rap on hunting or nothing, but this is just, I don't think there's anything wrong with hunting. or or being in the field, right? Working hard and all that. But Esau went. It was all about matter of attitude. It was all about attitude and about what he wanted and what he wanted to get. Um, where Jacob is dwelling in tents. What is he doing in tents? Just sitting back, relaxing. Oh man, this is nice. You know, this is real sweet. I get to sit, lay in a tent all day. No, I don't think that was the case either. the The case was is he was, I believe he was studying the language, studying the word of Yah. He was being where I believe Esau didn't want that. Esau was saying, "Well, I just want to do what I want to do. I want to do it my way." I mean, that was uh, that was the famous song from Frank Sinatra. I think wrote it, and I think also Elvis Presley made it popular about I want to do things my way. I mean, I don't think that's a good thing. I think we need to look at what is Yah's ways, and I don't think we're going to know what Yah's ways is if we don't study the Word. If we don't find out for ourselves, we're not going to know. And how do we bring it about together as a whole to bring it as a corporate thing, a bigger picture, because each one of us has a part to play in this, as a piece of him that we need to fit into the rest of the body. The scripture is clear about the body. Not everyone could be the head. Not everyone could be the mouth or the ears. Not everybody's the hands or the feet. I mean, we all have got different gifts, and we need to know what those gifts are. We need to know what our. That's why I believe it says to judge who you are first. Okay, judge. We need to judge who we are so that we know where we fit in. Okay, which I'll come more to that here. Esau is a perfect example of operating in the flesh, wanting to do things his way, not caring about Yah's ways, selling his birthright for a bowl of soup. That shows you Esau's attitude right there. Of he didn't even care about his birthright. He didn't care about what Yah gave him. And he sold it to his younger brother Jacob for something to eat, so he could satisfy his flesh. So he can not be hungry. So that tells me all about his mindset and what he perceived was more important. So that's the type of man Esau is, and I also think he wanted his way so much he was going to do anything to get it. I mean, by force and by just about what's happening in Paris and just with the terrorism that's going on in the world and stuff. It's all set the stage for a bigger picture too. But Yah says he's gonna crush our enemies if we do what he says. He says he will step on our enemies. He's gonna do that. Not we. We might have a part to play in that, but he's gonna do it if we do his word. When Yeshua said, "You are of your father, the devil," remember when he said that, and I think he was saying to one of the Pharisees or something. You are the father, you're the devil. I believe he was talking about Esau's lineage. Esau being the devil, being a devil on the earth. I believe there's a spiritual devil and then there's the physical. We make up the physical devil on the earth. If we think a certain way, if we act a certain way, uh, and that's a scary thing to me. I mean, because I know I haven't been perfect in the 20 some years I've been learning Torah. I haven't been perfect. I don't think anybody can be perfect. Um, I mean, I think we strive for perfection in our hearts. That's a good thing. We need to know what our what He wants from us. We Okay. Jacob was the polar opposite of Esau. Jacob studied in the tents of Shem. That's why the scripture says he is a complete man because of studying the Hebrew language. The 22 letters of the alphabet make up the whole Torah. You guys realize that? All it takes is 22 letters to make up the whole Torah. I mean, it's all a matter of how it's arranged. How the letters make words, and the words make sentences, and the sentences make paragraphs. And I always had a hard time with all that when I was in school. I was had a hard time with education as a young man trying to grow up and trying to learn uh, trying to learn English. English was really confusing to me as a kid. I couldn't understand all the different stuff. So I struggled, but I tell you what, the Hebrew language to me is a whole lot easier to understand than English ever was. And I think there's a lot to be revealed in these 22 letters. He says, search for them as for hidden treasure. Um, so I'm going to move on to Bereshit 35:1. And Elohim said to Jacob, arise and go to Bethel, dwell there, and make an altar there to El, who appeared to you when you fled from the face of Esau your brother. So Bethel, however you want to pronounce it, it's the Strong's number 1008. It means house of Elohim or house of Yah. This is the ancient place and seat of worship in Ephraim on the border of Benjamin. The children of Joseph, Manasseh, and Ephraim inherited this place where the house of El is, the house of Yahuwah. You had to go through the wilderness and mountains to get there. Joshua 16:1-2. That's what Joshua 16:1-2 says. Basically, you had to go through the wilderness and the mountains. This was a place where Jacob sought refuge from his brother Esau to hear from the Almighty. So this is a place where people came and worshiped and to hear from Yah. And Yah told him to go there, and Jacob went there several times. This wasn't the only time, but he went there a lot. We need to praise the Almighty, loving Yah of all creation. Elohim Ahav Av Yah Barim, Almighty loving Father of all creation. Father, I give you all esteem. I give you all credit for everything that I am, that my family is and is going to be. I give you all my goods and services. I give you my whole heart, my whole mind, and all my strength to serve your kingdom, your house, what that looks like. I give it all to you. I give you my sons and my daughters to serve you and to humbly serve, Father. We, for it is me and my house, we will serve you. I don't want to lack anything. I want to give you everything that I have for your kingdom's sake here upon this earth. I want to build it. I want to be a part of it. I want to live and breathe it each and every day of my life. I do. I want to be strengthened by who you are. I no longer want to be a weak man. I don't want to be weak. I want to be strong. I want my brothers to be strong and my sisters. I want to see the miracles of Yah. The gematria for Beit El is 443. It's a Beit Aleph with a Tav Mem suffix, which means bow, to come in, come near, to come upon, fall or light upon, come to pass, gather, and attack the enemy. That's what I want to be. I want to be lit up. I want to come near to the Father through Yeshua, because that's the only way we're going to come through the Father. You're not going to come through the Father by no other means than Yeshua, but in the means that He's made for you, the provisions that He's made for you. And if you don't like it, then I guess you're not going to be a part of it, because that's what He has set up. The Tav Mem suffix means completion, perfection, without blemish. We cannot be this in and of ourselves. If we do Torah in the flesh through pride and arrogance and selfish ambition, we will fall. Pride comes before the fall. Another word that adds up to 443 is Aleph Bet. First it was the Bet Aleph, now it's the Aleph Bet, which with the Tav Mem suffix, which means Abba or Av, father, the chief, the head or founder of the house, group or family or clan. So however you want to look, he's the chief one. He's the head and the founder. No one can change what he's established. But he is established creation to be. No one can change it. Everyone can try to change it, but he is the final say. You'll either fit into what he says or you're not going to fit into what he says. This walk has never been meant to do alone. It is not good for man to be alone. When that scripture says it's not good for man to be alone, I think it's talking about your husband and wife relations. I think it's talking about that, but I think it's talking about more than that too. It's about your other relationships that you have with each other, with him. He doesn't want us to be alone. We were never meant to be alone spiritually, physically, in every way. We were meant to be together and to be operating together as a perfect nation upon this earth, to bring about his will, to bring about his esteem. I'm trying to see where when I went back to Malachi, here, I mean, the father's looking for the son's esteem. You know, he's looking for that esteem from us, and that's why we set such a thing of worship, because he wants us to worship him. He's done a lot in my life. I don't want to quench what he's done in my life. I want to go forward and not backwards. I mean, and the worshiping and bowing down and practicing, this all here is a practice for what's to come and how we're going to fit in the house, of knowing what our part is in the house. You'll never get to know your part if you just sit. But if you participate, there's something different that happens. We need to know what our part is in participating as the whole body. Right now, I believe the whole body is sick. We have sick individuals in the body, but the body as a whole is sick because it lacks the functioning parts working together. Um, and what's our part in that? I believe Yah has a part for each and every one of us. I'm just a simple man up here talking, and by no means, I got simple ways. I got simple thoughts. Some people are more complex in their thinking. Mine is more just simple and down to earth, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just different. We're different, and I need the one who is more complex, and then the one who's more complex needs the one that's more simple. Uh, that's how we work together. So you guys understand what I'm talking about with the gematria here, and one thing I like too with the first one of the Bet Aleph with the Tav Men prefix. It also has the Al in the middle of the word. It's the Aleph Tav in the middle, which represents the beginning and the end, which represents the Messiah, the that that completeness right there. So he's basically saying, "Come and come in, come near, and come upon and fall upon the light of Yeshua, to so that your enemies will scatter." I mean, I've I've had a long battle with the enemy uh, in certain areas of my life. One of the areas is has been in the areas of finance. Okay, where the enemy always seemed to attack that area. Ever since I've been faithfully given that tithe, that 10%, and sometimes going beyond that and trying to fulfill a need and stuff. Ever since I've been doing that, man, my finances, wow. I'm no longer, the enemy can't touch it. That's a big deal for me, because I always had a hard time with the tithe aspect of what the Torah says. The Torah says the tithe. If we think there's no tithe, you're gonna be you're gonna be pretty poor, and the enemy's gonna attack he's gonna attack you in that area, because you haven't. It's about cause and effect. It's about uh, the laws that the Father has put in place. He says, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. If you do it, then you'll be blessed. If you don't, you'll be cursed. And I want to do his blessings. I want to be a part of the blessings, and I want to be able to bless others too. I want to be able to bless. I've always wanted to bless other people, but just knowing how to do it, I guess. I also want to say too, I mean, Dave Matthews has been a pretty good example to me of how things should be done. You know, he's a pretty humble man. I've never, I've never met too many humble people like him. But I could honestly say he's a humble man. Yeah, yeah, has humbled him. You know, and he gives pretty good advice. He's given me a lot of good advice. Okay, so I'm going to go on to Bethlehem. I also wanted to look up the Hebrew word for Bethlehem. Now, Bethlehem, that's how you say it in English. Bethlehem. It's pretty incredible when I started looking at this. We all know that Bethlehem is where the Messiah was born, and but it's actually pronounced Beth Lechem, which means house of bread. This was considered the birthplace of the Messiah, a city in Judah, also the birthplace of King David. Bereshit 35:19. That's basically what Bereshit 35, which is Genesis. If you guys don't know what Bereshit means, it's Genesis 35:19. So that's where I got that bit of information. It was right there. And the gematria for Beth Lechem is 490. Yeah. 490, which also adds up to 70 times 7. So I did a little teaching about 70 times 7, a year ago, a couple of Sukkots ago. And it adds up to 490. Yeshua says to forgive your brother 70 times 7, right? Forgive your brother 70 times 7. You know what that means? It doesn't mean 490. That just helps you get the 490 just helps you to get the answers. So I believe his disciples, when he said 70 times 7, well, they automatically say 490. Okay, what does that mean in gematria? I believe that's what they're going to go back and try to study what is actually being said here. 70 is Ken, the Hebrew word Ken, which it means where am I at here? It means, and it was so, right? It's a pale picture of a hand stretched out with the noon, basically the Kaf noon, which is the hand stretched out to give life, to get, and in this case, it could be to give bread. Well, we know what the bread represents. Bread also represents His Word, and it also represents Yeshua. The Zion now is 7. 7 is Zion. I'm going to Zion you. I'm going to seven you. Every week we go through a 7-day cycle. The 7-day cycle, and we rest on the 7th day. That's what he's talking about. To Zion you, and then every year we go through the cycle with the feasts, which are 7 feasts, and it's the same cycle every year. The weeks become months, the months become up to a year, but he wanted That's our completion. 7 is the number of completion. Okay, these are the words. These are the words that add up to. I don't know where I started my time. I don't know how long we've been talking for. I'm supposed to give an hour, but I don't know if it's going to last that. Unless you guys want to give some input or something. Yeah, 'cause we could pass around the mic and. Okay. All right. So these words add up to 490. These are the words. Well, Shema is one of them. To hear, listen, and obey. The also mishpat, which means judgment, justice, and right. And then there's another word called kala, consume, end, finish, completion, fulfill, and destroy. So that's what kala means. Kala, if I'm pronouncing it right, I don't know. And then there's another one. Nekala means inheritance, heritage, inherit, possession. Yeah, are we his prized possession? Are we going to obtain the inheritance that's been promised through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Are we going to live up to God's expectation to receive that inheritance? Because I believe that, but I don't think we can do it alone. You know, I mean, this is the thing I know about America. In America, we're used to doing things ourselves. We're used to just doing it. We're making things work, and I think God's trying to get us out of that independence and being interdependent upon each other instead of independent. I think independence can be unhealthy because then we have no need for anybody. I think that's the way the world likes it, to be honest with you. We're just sitting on our couches. Oh, yeah, I'm doing the Sabbath today. I might read the scripture. I might not, you know. Yeah, I'm pretty tired today. How do I get out of bed, you know? I mean, I've gone through all that, guys. I'm telling you, I've gone through it all. Yeah. And God's given me the opportunity to be able to share my life with people, which, you know, whatever it amounts to, you know. And the thing about the Shema, you could maybe zoom in on this. Can you zoom on this, BJ? Basically, the flag this is the Paleo Hebrew of the Shema, the pictograph, and we, Shema Israel, Elohim, Elohim, Yahweh Akkad. Why does it say his name twice? I believe, to be honest with you, I believe it says because once for the Father, once for the Son, and the Spirit brings, and the Akkad is the Spirit which brings the Father and Son together. See, the Father, He's established His kingdom on the heavens. The Father and Son are there in the heavens, and they're together, and whoever else, because they kicked out all the ones that weren't obedient. They kicked them down here. That's why we're all messed up right now, because we've listened to the fallen messengers. We listened to the giants of the land, the Nephilims. Yeah, we've already listened to them, man. They got they're some back drinking cocktails now, because they already got us mad at each other, uh, just kicking back and chilling out because there's nothing to do, kind of thing. But there's a whole lot to do. We need to step up. Each and every one of us need to step up. I'm talking to myself. When I say this, I'm talking to myself. I got to point the fingers at myself first before I can ever point any fingers at anybody. I mean, I judge myself to this word. So when Yeshua multiplied the fish, that represents the two houses, Judah and Ephraim. So when he multiplied them, he's multiplying the houses. And the 5 loaves of bread, that represents the 5 books of Moses, which is the Torah. He multiplied the same word to all the people. So all the people got to eat the same word. They got to hear, they got to listen, they got to obey the same word. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. He hasn't changed. Ones who've changed is us. We've changed. When Yeshua, so when Yeshua fed the 5,000, they were with him for a week before he fed them any physical food. Now, that is, to me, that's a commitment. Basically, being with somebody for a week. I also believe, too, that week that they were with him was probably Sukkot. Because that was the time of everyone coming together to dwell in tents and to hear a prophet, to hear the Messiah speak was probably a pretty big privilege. I wish I could hear that. I wish I could have heard that. I mean, I'm hearing in other ways and stuff, but there's nothing like your Messiah being right there before you, and him telling you. One of the things I appreciated too is Chad spoke last week about respect, respecting one another. We do need to respect one another. I mean, that's all part of the house, of dwelling in the house of Yah. I mean, the flip side of pride and arrogance is humility and being humble. That's the opposite side of pride and arrogance. And pride and arrogance says, well, I don't need to do that. Or I could have said to Yah, I could have said, well, I'm not worthy to speak about your house. I'm not, to me, that's another form of pride. It just goes the other way. It's just basically when Yah says for you to do something, you better do it. Because we need to listen to what he has to say. We need to listen to what he's telling us and what he wants us to accomplish. Okay, so I believe that maybe they had a little bit of physical food there, but he didn't want to send them off hungry, physically hungry. I think they had plenty of spiritual food being taught that week, and they're committed to stay no matter what, no matter how hard it got physically for them. And he had compassion on them, and he fed them. Okay. He who calls himself a believer, Christian, Jew, or Messianic, they are saying we are of the house. Therefore, we are judged first. That means we are being molded and shaped through pressure where Yah can show us our true self so that he can begin to cut away the things that are displeasing to him And I put like our traditions. That's just one. Our traditions are just one thing. Things that we hold on dear to because we were brought up a certain way. This, you know, these certain traditions that we were brought up. I gave up years ago a lot of the traditions that were handed on down to me because Yah was showing me that it wasn't his ways and that he wanted me to know his ways. And he started sharing with me those things like 26 years ago. And I've hung on to them since. And sometimes it hasn't always been easy to hang on to those things when no one else is there. You know, you're just doing it by yourself. Uh, Sometimes it gets a little bit hard to what, even to where you question, what is it worth it? And I say to yeah, it is worth it because the sufferings of this world are nothing to compare to the esteem of Elohim. We have no idea. These sufferings that we're going through in this world are nothing compared to the esteem which He is going to give you, brother. He's going to give you His esteem and His power because of what you've gone through. And that goes for any of us. Any hardships that we face, any pressures. I mean, this is all for, if we hang on, it's all for an end result. So I think that's all I got to say. I think that's it. So we also want to give our tithe and offerings and love offerings, or whatever we want to pass around. Hey, where's Eric?